Welcome and thank you for tuning in to watch this TAA Benefits Overview presentation. You should have also received the Participant's Guide to the TRADE Act program in Connecticut in the mail. If for some reason you did not receive the guide in the mail, you may also access it on the Connecticut Department of Labor TRADE Act internet site. The contents of the guide covers much of the same information in the presentation you are about to view, with the guide going into more detail in each area. So, if you are watching this presentation now, you have most likely been found eligible for TAA benefits, meaning your separation from your job was impacted by foreign trade in some way and the U.S. Department of Labor certified your company as TAA eligible. The reason you are required to watch this presentation and read the guide is because the U.S. Department of Labor mandates that all impacted workers receive full program and benefit information about the TAA program. You will also be assigned a Connecticut Department of Labor TAA representative that will help you navigate the program and be available to answer any questions and concerns you may have. So please don't feel you must grasp everything you see and read right now. In addition to this presentation, we also have a TAA YouTube video you can view by going on the Connecticut Department of Labor TRADE Act internet page or directly from YouTube by searching on the term CT Department of Labor TRADE Act program. Before we begin, in order to take advantage of all the services available to you through our American Job Centers, including TAA, you must first create an account in our CT Hires database located at www.cthires.com. So if you have not done so already, please make sure to go to this site and register. What is TAA? The Trade Adjustment Assistance Program is a federal program sponsored by the U.S. Department of Labor and is administered by the Connecticut Department of Labor for our state. It provides a multitude of benefits and services to eligible workers who have lost their jobs due to foreign trade. The goal of the TAA program is to get you back to suitable employment as quickly as possible. Suitable employment is defined as work that is equal to or of greater skill level of your trade-impacted job and pays at least 80% of what you were being paid at that job. Who is eligible for TAA benefits? Any member of a worker group certified in the TAA certification by the U.S. Department of Labor who has experienced a total or partial layoff or is in danger of being totally or partially laid off. TAA offers a variety of benefits and services to help you become reemployed. They include reemployment and case management services, trade readjustment allowances, known as TRA, job training, reemployment trade adjustment assistance, known as RTAA, job search assistance, relocation allowances, and assistance with healthcare premium costs. Let's take a look at each one of these benefits and services. Reemployment services. Comprehensive specialized career assessments, individualized career counseling, employment planning, resume and interview prep workshops, supportive services available through the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, known as WIOA, employer recruitments, veteran services, and resource centers. TRA benefits. Trade readjustment allowance. This offers financial support to you while you are in training. It's the same amount you received while filing for your regular unemployment, and there are three types of TRA: basic TRA, additional TRA, and completion TRA. To be eligible for TRA, you must be an adversely affected worker covered under a TAA certification, have a qualifying separation within the impact and termination date of the certification, and had at least 26 weeks of employment at wages of $30 or more prior to your layoff. The next slide shows what your TRA determination letter looks like and contains important information such as your training enrollment date deadline, the weekly amount of your TRA, and your basic TRA eligibility period. This is what the determination letter will look like. There's a lot of information on main points. Right here, we talk about your enrollment date deadline, your weekly TRA amounts, and your eligibility period. The three types of TRA. Basic TRA gives you up to 26 weeks of benefits after exhausting regular unemployment insurance benefits. You must be participating in full-time training, have completed training, or have obtained a waiver of the training requirement with job search efforts. Please note, you may receive basic TRA while conducting job search up to your enrollment date deadline without training or on a waiver, but will not be eligible for additional or completion TRA. Basic TRA job search requirements. Follows the same rules as when you were filing for regular unemployment benefits. You must contact at least 3 employers on 2 separate days per week, accept any offer of suitable work, consider other types of work, and you must keep a record of your job-seeking efforts. Additional TRA. This provides up to 65 weeks of TRA while you're in training. So it's available while you are participating in full-time training and you have exhausted all rights to your basic TRA. To remain eligible for additional TRA, you must continue to be enrolled and participating in full-time training. Completion TRA provides another 13 weeks of income support, and it's payable to you when you've exhausted all basic and additional TRA. There are 5 criteria for receiving completion TRA. First, the requested weeks are necessary to complete training that leads to a degree or industry-recognized credential. You need to participate in full-time training each week. You must meet training benchmarks established in your training plan, continue to make satisfactory progress in training, be on target to complete the training during the established completion time period. Claims for weekly TRA benefits. TRA is processed differently than regular UI benefits. They may be mailed, emailed, or delivered in person to your TAA representative and must be accompanied by your training attendance form or job search efforts form if not in training. Waiver of training. A waiver of training allows a participant to receive basic TRA while not participating in training, but you are required to perform work search efforts. There are 3 types of waivers. Health. You're unable to participate in training or complete training due to a health condition. Enrollment not available. Your approved training will not begin within 30 days of the approval date of training. And training not available. This is if there is no training available in which you can enroll. Note, waivers are only available during basic TRA. In order to receive additional or completion TRA, you must be participating in full-time training. Waiver of training requirements. A training waiver may be issued if one of the 3 conditions from the previous page is met. Once a waiver of training is approved, you will need to fulfill your work search efforts. The waiver will be reviewed after the first 90 days and then every 30 days thereafter. When the waiver terminates, you will be given a new enrollment date deadline for which to enroll in training in order to remain eligible for TRA. Training. Training is available to you either full-time or part-time, but there is no TRA eligibility with part-time training. The types of training can include traditional classroom training or online training, on-the-job training, apprenticeship programs, post-secondary education, certifications, prerequisite and remedial education. Your training plan. Once you meet with your TAA representative, you will discuss training options best suited for your reemployment goals. There are 6 criteria for approval. First, there is no suitable employment available to you. You would benefit from the training. There is a realistic expectation of employment after training. The training is reasonably available. You are qualified to take and finish the training, and training is available at a reasonable cost. What is in a training plan? Your training plan will assist you in obtaining the skills necessary to obtain suitable employment. Components of a training plan include labor market data to support the training plan, documented training benchmarks reviewed every 60 days, financial support projections, training program comparisons, course outline, and a career development plan. Please note you will be expected to take an active role in the development of your plan, and once started, you are expected to complete the training. Training allowances. Connecticut has a cap of $25,300 for training-related costs. Training must be approved before any expenses will be covered. Subsistence allowance for mileage, food, and lodging reimbursement is available if your training commute is 41 or more miles from your home. There is a maximum of 130 weeks of training allowed, and you are entitled to one training program per Trade Act certification. However, a single plan can consist of multiple training components. Incumbent worker training. An incumbent worker is still employed but has been threatened with a separation from their company due to foreign trade. TAA training is available while still employed. You must be certified as eligible to apply for TAA benefits and services. TRA is not available while still employed. And there are reemployment services available through the American Job Centers. On-the-job training. This allows you to work at a new job while being trained on new skills by a company. It's customized to meet the needs of the employer. You must apply before starting the new job. Can be combined with classroom training if needed. You are being paid by an employer, so there is no TRA available, and this is considered your one and only training plan. Apprenticeship training. Similar to on-the-job training, you must be registered with the state apprenticeship office. TAA funds can be used to reimburse the employer for costs of training up to 50% of the wages they pay you. It can be used to cover related instruction costs. Again, being paid by an employer, so there is no TRA, and this is considered your one training plan. Occupational training. This can include certification programs, associate degrees, bachelor's degrees, and master degrees. All must be able to be completed within the 130-week limitation. Remedial training. This can include GED, basic adult education, and English as a second language. Remedial training can be combined with occupational training if the total training weeks is 130 or less. Following the rules. The trade program has many great benefits that come with rules and responsibilities. You will be provided with documentation detailing these rules and responsibilities. You will need to provide grades, progress reports, transcripts, and diplomas upon request to your TAA rep. When in doubt, ask. Don't make any changes or decisions before speaking with your TAA representative. Failing to comply means you may lose your benefits and possibly be liable to repay money expended on your behalf. The RTAA program, Reemployment Trade Adjustment Assistance. This provides a wage supplement when you are earning less than what you were making in your trade-impacted employer. You must be 50 or about to be 50 years of age or older to participate, earning less than $50,000 a year in your new job, and there's a maximum of $10,000 paid to you over a 2-year period. To receive RTAA, you will need to be fully employed or employed part-time, at least 20 hours per week, and attending TAA full-time approved training. Your eligibility period begins when your unemployment benefits have exhausted or when your new job begins, whichever is sooner. You cannot receive TRA while receiving RTAA. If you collect a TRA beforehand, those benefits will be subtracted from the $10,000 cap, as will the eligibility period be reduced. Once RTAA is received, you cannot collect any unclaimed TRA. Job search allowance. This covers some of the expenses while looking for work. For searches outside your commuting area of 41 or more miles one way, there must be a finding of no suitable employment available in your commuting area, and it covers 90% of the cost for travel and subsistence. A maximum of $1,250 can be paid. The application for job search allowance must be submitted before your job search begins. Save all your receipts for reimbursement, and it is subject to the limitations of the federal per diem rates. Relocation allowance. You must have a bona fide job offer of long-term suitable employment. The job offer requires relocation, finding of no suitable employment available in your commuting area, and it covers up to 90% of the expenses that are reasonable and necessary. A lump sum payment equal to 3 times your average weekly wage up to $1,250 is available. The application must be submitted before relocation process begins. Save all receipts, and again, subject to the federal per diem rates. Health Coverage Tax Credit, HCTC, is available to eligible TAA and RTAA recipients. It is operated and funded by the Internal Revenue Service. It will cover 72.5% of you and your family's health care insurance premiums if participating in a qualified health care plan as defined by the IRS. The Connecticut Department of Labor only provides TAA eligibility information to the IRS. We do not determine who is eligible for the credit. You will need to fill out forms to enroll, and they can be found on the IRS site at www.irs.gov/HCTC. Thank you for viewing this benefits overview presentation for the TAA program. Please make sure you have also read the Participant's Guide to TAA in Connecticut. Also, please make sure to register in CT Hires before your first appointment. If you have any questions after reviewing this material, please write them down and ask your TAA representative at your first appointment. Thank you and good luck.